The Race and Postcast, in association with Paddy Power, they prize up all UK and Irish racing the night before.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's almost time to put your toppers away for another year, because Royal Ascot ends here with day 5 of the world's greatest flat festival, and it ends as it began, with a big international presence in the feature race, the Diamond Jubilee Stakes. A relatively small field this year, just the 10 runners, only 6 representing the home team. We've got candidates from America, Australia, Hong Kong and France. The home team, though, have the favourites in the guise of Magical Memory, 3-1 with Frankie Dettori. The Tin Man and Twilight Sun on 4-1. That's with Paddy Power. Joined by Bruce Jackson, Stuart Riley and Tony O'Hare to talk with myself, Lee Mottershead, through the card. And we'll start with that Diamond Jubilee Stakes. And Bruce, Frankie Dettori won the race last year on Undrafted. He's jumped ship. He's riding Magical Memory. He's 4 from 4 on that horse. Would he be the one that you think sets the standard?
Yeah, I think he definitely sets the standard. He's not my idea of the winner, because I think there's a boy waiting in the wings that he's got family connections here, and I saw him win at Windsor last time. The Tin Man, half brother to Deacon Blues. James Fanshawe, very astute with these sprinters and doesn't hurry them along. Big late developer. I think he's going to sort of knock all the foreigners out of the way. Beat Undrafted from last year, and I'm afraid Frankie's got, I think, the wrong one. I think Magical Memories, he's solid, but I don't think he's spectacular. I think others can improve past him.
Stuart, would you be looking at the home team to win it like Bruce, or do you see one of the internationals as a likely victor?
I think if the ground was a bit faster, then I think the international horses would come into it more. I think on this sort of ground, I'm looking more at the home team. And the one I like is Twilight Sun. I think he's proven himself with a bit of cut in the ground. He went very well at Haydock. He ran well here on Champions Day. I think he's a class horse, and with a bit of cut in the ground, I think he's one of the best sprinters around.
Tony, I was reading the Racing Post Monday jury this week, and I see that you like Stuart, like Twilight Sun.
I do, yeah. I must admit I haven't given it a whole lot of study. No Irish runner in it this year, but for the reasons Stuart stated, particularly the ground, I'll go with Twilight Sun.
OK, so Twilight Sun and the Tin Man gets the vote here, but as I say, we have got 4 international runners. Gold Fun represents Hong Kong, Signs of Blessing goes for France, Undrafted goes for Wesley Ward, and Holler is a Godolphin runner for Australian trainer John O'Shea. Here's what John thinks.
You know, this has been his main focus since the William Reid. So, whereas Sea Siren, to be fair, she was in good order, but you know, I probably, you know, my first foray to it and weren't as effective as hopefully we have been this time. Richard, who rides him all the time and knows him very well, is very happy with him, and he seemed, you know, very effective. So hopefully that transfers across to race day. I think he's pretty effective no matter what. You know, he can get his toe in, or you know, even when it's very firm. He won at the Valley on Cox Plate Day when it was, you know, bone jarring hard. So yeah, we're lucky in that respect. He's effective wherever we're riding.
Here's Paddy Power's latest offer for Royal Ascot. It's money back as a free bet if your horse finishes second to the SP Fav in every single race throughout Royal Ascot. Max £25 per race, 18+, please gamble responsibly.
The Chesham Stakes, as always these days, starts day 5 of Royal Ascot at 2:30, and it's an intriguing looking renewal this year with 2 sons of Frankel, Cunco and Francus in the field, but Ballydoyle have the favourite. Antonio Hare, Aidan's got the 2,000 guineas favourite now in Caravaggio after the Coventry. What vibes do you get about Churchill, his Chesham representative?
Positive vibes, and there was a lot to like about his first run. He only finished 3rd at the Curragh, but it was eye-catching, futuristic, whatever you want to call it. I thought it was a nice run. There should be a good bit of an improvement in him. I know he's in against winners and he's only had the one race, but I think he's a serious player, and I won't be at all surprised if he puts it up to all of them and maybe comes home in front.
OK, well right now you can get 6-4 with Paddy Power about Churchill, who has a fantastic name, rather more attractive, Stuart, than Frankel's 2 boys, Cunco and Francus, but they've both been impressive on their first starts.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think 6-4 is a very short price about a horse in a race like this against unexposed, improving rivals, but he's 6-4 for a reason, and the bookmakers clearly think he's past the post. I think I would side with one of the two Frankels. I think Kunko might be the one. I think it's interesting. Rab Havlin, he's waited to the age of 42 to get himself a Royal Ascot winner. Might be like London Buses, two come along at once. He had one earlier this week. I think he can go in again.
Bruce, Kunko took an age to get going at Newmarket. It looked like he'd learned a heck of a lot from that Newbury introduction. How impressed were you with him?
Very impressed. I did Andrew Balding's stable tour this year, and the 1-2-year-old he put up to me was Isomer, that in the end finished second of that race, and so I know how much Andrew likes that as a 2-year-old, so I couldn't be more impressed with Kunko. I think again, I think so. The give in the ground, I think it's drying out a bit. I mean, as we talk, we still haven't had any rain on Friday. I think the ground should just about be all right for him, and I think he is the one to beat. Frankus, I know, speaking to the Northern boys, said was very, very green on debut, both in the paddock and in the race, and it came as a bit of a shock to the team that it actually won as well as it did. They didn't think it was that good. So of the two Frankels, definitely Kunko, and I think he'll be good enough to win it. I will put a word in for Admiralty Arch. I think that's definitely got a chance as well. I was quite impressed with the way that developed from debut, being beaten on debut to winning second time, and I think that form's quite solid as well.
Okay, we go on then to the second race on the card, the Wolferton Stakes, named after late Queen Mother's favourite butler, George Wolferton. It's been a good week for Godolphin. They've had plenty of winners, really had a morale boost over Ascot this year, and they've got the favourite in the Wolferton with Best of Times. James Doyle rides this one 9-2 with our friends at Paddy Power. 7-1 Pacify, 9-1 Educate, and Bruce, we'll stick with you. Best of Times, another one for Godolphin?
I think I've had enough. They've been a bit greedy, haven't they, really, this week? I think they're definitely beatable. I think the Godolphin lots in this listed race. Educate took my eye. I'm not sure about Mikel Barcelona being the sort of jockey to get on with him. I think he needs a little bit more sort of like pushing and bumping and grinding. So I've gone over him, and the one I like, I think is a bit forgotten, is Battalion. He's had a bit of an up and down sort of year. Poor old William Haggis had a sort of a bad time in the Britannia yesterday. I'm hoping there's some compensation around the corner. I think if he can return to midsummer form like last year, I think Battalion would take all the beating in the race. Yeah,
when William Haggis had a bad time in the Britannia, that meant I had a bad time in the Britannia as well, but that wouldn't be William's greatest concern. Stuart, the Wolferton, to me, looks a really hard handicap to solve, and maybe not the classiest handicap of the week at Ascot. How do you see it?
I do agree with that. And at the start of the season, I actually put up Best of Times as the Godolphin horse to follow this year in the Racing Post Stable Tour. I think a lot of the horse. I think he is very classy, and I do think that this as a handicap lacks a bit of class. However, I do think he's too short a price. I do think, whilst it lacks a bit of class, it is still competitive. I do like the horse Bruce put up in Battalion. The other horse that catches my eye is Maleficent Queen. I think any horse with that many ones next to their name has to be worth siding with. Keith Dalgleish is a brilliant trainer, bringing them through very well, and I just think at the prices, I'd rather side with her.
Tony, we don't often see an Aidan O'Brien trained horse at 16-1 at Royal Ascot, particularly when it's the trainer's only representative in the race. Sir Isaac Newton, a play?
Talented horse, but a bit of a monkey. He's only won one race, a maiden at Gordon Park last year. He did run very well in the Jersey Stakes last year. He was only beaten 2.5 lengths, but he's got beaten a few times this season. He's not one I trust. I mean, if he hits a good day, he can run a big race, but 16-1 is about right, I would say. He's not one to trust.
Okay, the Hardwick Stakes is the chief supporting contest on day 5 at Royal Ascot. Really interesting race too in the main, because Sir Michael Stout runs two progressive middle distance performers in the mould of those horses that Sir Michael's done so well with over the years. The Queen has Dartmouth, who's won this year's John Porter and Ormond, but Ryan Moore has jumped ship to ride the runaway Jockey Club Stakes winner Exosphere. He's also got off Ballydole's Highland Reel to ride Exosphere, and Stuart, I would suggest that means Ryan thinks an awful lot about Exosphere.
I think Ryan probably does think an awful lot about Exosphere. I know you think an awful lot about Exosphere as well. I think Exosphere is a great horse.
Well, he's not great yet. He's a good horse.
Well, no,
he's very
yeah,
good.
absolutely.
I mean, we shouldn't get too carried away.
Yeah, no, I think he has the potential to be a great horse. Is what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I actually don't fancy him for this race at the price.
Stuart.
Yeah, well, I think at double the price you can get Eagle Top, who was beaten a nose here in a King George by a horse called Postponed, who's turned out to be really rather good.
But who's probably now £10 better than he was then.
I'm not sure he's necessarily £10 better than he was then. I think he was an incredibly good horse then. I think Eagle Top got very close to him that day, and I think he's the one they have to beat, proven in Group 1 company, and I just think at double the price I'd rather be with Eagle Top than Exosphere, who has a lot of potential but still has it to prove.
And would that disappointing run at Newbury last time not put you off Eagle Top completely?
No, not at all.
No.
I think John Gosden's a master trainer. It's been all about today, and that was a prep to get him right for here. It's done exactly that.
So John Gosden and Lady Bamford for Stuart there with Eagle Top. Tony, the fact that Aidan is running Highland Reel but Ryan's not riding the horse, I mean, does that put you off Highland Reel to a great extent, the fact that Ryan doesn't want to ride him?
Well, you'd obviously have to respect Ryan's opinion. I mean, Highland Reel is a solid horse. He's been around the world. He's won a Grade 1 in America, Group 1 in Hong Kong. His last run away from home wasn't particularly inspiring. He's a solid horse. He has his chance. We also have Wicklow Brave for Willie Mullins, Cheltenham Festival winner running into Hardwick. He has some decent flat form. Like he ran well in the Ormond at Chester last time, was second, and he was third to Order of St George, admittedly some way behind him in the Irish St Ledger. Interesting that he's taken his chance. I wouldn't be at all surprised if sort of Wicklow Brave ran in the money, but I think I'd be looking elsewhere for the winner.
Well, Postcast listeners, Wicklow Brave is 16-1 with Paddy Power. I'm going to take a bit of Tony's advice there. Bruce, we've also got horses like Simple Verse, the Ledger winner in the field, the progressive handicapper Almodovar. It's a good Hardwick Stakes.
Yeah, as you were saying, they're good, not great. I thought it was going to be a very good race, but I'm slightly disappointed with it.
Even with Exosphere in the field.
Well, the Exosphere is one that's rather gone under my radar, but sort of like, as Sir Michael is the leading trainer at Royal Ascot, although he's being closed down rapidly by Aidan, I think he's still got a lead of 20, and he hasn't had a winner this week, and the horses have been running well, and he won it last year with Snow Sky. So yeah, all the sort of omens are good for Exosphere, but I still... Well, I won't be having a bet in the race, but if I was, I would definitely go with Mount Logan of Roger Varian's. That I know when he was with Luca Kimani, the vibes out there were that this horse was a group horse, and he didn't quite. He was a big backward horse even at 4. So like he's first time out this year, I thought, yeah, that's the real deal now. He's really grown into himself. He's a man now rather than a boy, and I think he can go on quite a long way. So the prices, that's the one that catches my eye. But I'd also go with Stuart that Eagle Top on form would be the one that I think they've all got to beat. Sort of as long as the ground keeps drying out. You wouldn't want it soft. So I'll go with him.
Okay, 20-1 there as well about Bruce's tip, Mount Logan. Okay, well, I think in recent months this podcast has made something of a cult figure of Paddy Power's Brendan Duke. Here now is what Brendan thinks about Day 5 at Ascot.
The final day of Ascot starts with the Chesham Stakes, and this may be a make or break race for bookmakers. Churchill has been all the rage in the build up to this race. Clearly expected to step forward markedly on his Curragh debut, this has the makings of a one-horse book. For my best bet, I like Almodovar in the Hardwick Stakes. He should enjoy the ground and has the scope to take very high order in the middle distance division.
Here's Paddy Power's latest offer for Royal Ascot. It's money back as a free bet if your horse finishes second to the SP Fav in every single race throughout Royal Ascot. Max £25 per race, 18 plus. Please gamble responsibly.
Just 2 races for us left to look at on the final day of the Royal Meeting. The first one is the sort of race that Bruce Jackson salivates over, the Wokingham Stakes. Bruce, the nation awaits. What do you like?
I'm completely gobsmacked by that.
Called a big up.
Thank you for that. I can't remember the last Wokingham winner I backed, but again, so I always go with one from each side when I'm looking at it myself. The one low draw I was quite strong on. I wish the race had been run on Tuesday. I think absolutely so. The former Air Gold Cup winner who loves to get his toe in. I think that was on Tuesday he would have won the race. I'm slightly worried about conditions now and also stall 6. I think it might now not be the place to be. And the other one sort of at a much higher price and a higher draw is Old Stepper Point.
Yeah.
Group 1 sprinter, now back, so he's been dropped so far because he seems to have lost the plot, but Willie Muir's managed to sort of rejuvenate quite a few over the years of these old boys, and I think he's just lurking there. Every time I go through the race, my eye keeps getting caught by him, and I think he's definitely, as a big price, a former class sprinter, he could just have his day.
40 to 1 as well. Stepper Point. Stuart, Bruce has given us a potential 40 to 1 winner. That sets the bar high for you, sir.
Yeah, indeed. I quite liked Stepper Point myself. The other one I liked was 25 to 1 shot, Jack Dexter, who similar profile to Stepper Point, a former very classy sprinter. He has a fantastic record at Ascot. He loves it here. He loves a bit of cut in the ground. I think he's primed. He's on his lowest mark since 2012. I think the stars have aligned for him with the rain this week. I think he could run a massive race at a huge price.
Okay, Tony, have the stars aligned for the Happy Prince Aidan's runner?
If they have, they haven't told me. Two wins from 12 starts. His form this year is very, very ordinary. He did win a handicap at Naas last year, back in a handicap for the first time this season. I remember sort of ridiculing War Envoy, I think, on this show last year and saying he had absolutely no chance in the handicap he ran, and he came out and won. I'm tempted to say the same about the Happy Prince, but you've got to respect the fact that they're taking a shot with him. I won't be on him.
Okay, we end then in the traditional way with communal singing, heavy traffic on Ascot High Street, and the Queen Alexandra Stakes, the longest race in the flat calendar, and still a contest yet to get on the radar of Wesley Ward. It very much though is on the radar of Willie Mullins. He does well in this one, Tony, and Clondor Warrior. Ryan Moore looks a very obvious contender.
Yeah, I think he's probably our best shot at a winner maybe tomorrow. He won at the meeting last year. He's a very versatile horse. The ground won't inconvenience him. He also runs Simonon, who back in 2012 won the Ascot Stakes and then came out and won the Queen Alexandra. That was a while ago. And he remembered in 2013 he almost beat Estimate in the Gold Cup. So I mean, he was a very sort of talented stayer. How much of that ability he retains, I'm not too sure about that, but I'd definitely go with Clondor Warrior as one of Ireland's best chances tomorrow.
Okay, Stuart, this race last year fell to Oriental Fox, showed tremendous stamina to win it on that occasion. Runs again, has the biggest weight penalty to carry, 9 stone 5. Joe Fanning back on board. Do we like Oriental Fox?
I think Oriental Fox is the perfect horse for this sort of race, and I don't think he'll be too far away. Tony has just completely stolen my thunder with his case for Simonon. That's the horse I fancy at the prices. I think 12 to 1 with Paddy Power is a very generous price, and Tony said it all already. So
Tony, would you just repeat it again?
I don't think I did say that. I said Clondor Warrior was the one, and if Simonon retained the ability of a few years ago, yeah, definite chance. But I'm Clondor Warrior. Sorry. I'm Clondor Warrior rather than Simonon.
Stuart, has that now put you off Simonon?
No, not at all. I think that the case is as Tony stated, with his previous form being very good. I mean, he was second to Estimate in an Ascot Gold Cup here. He's won the race before. He clearly loves it here, and yeah, I think at double the price, I'm going to side with him.
Bruce, your final selection of Royal Ascot in the Queen Alexandra Stakes. Give it to me.
Just the obvious one, Oriental Fox won it last year. They were very tempted to go for the Ascot Gold Cup. They were sort of leaning towards that and then decided not to go. Save him for this. Well, they'll be very disappointed if he can't win this when they thought he could have a potential of picking up money in the Ascot Gold Cup. So it's sort of like there's so many in the field that you know won't get the 2 mile 5. And with money in the bank, I'll give you the forecast as well. I like Frosty Berry of Edgar Giles, a very underrated trainer. Horses always go off too big for the prices, and I think he can chase home Oriental Fox.
Okay, a bit of a Brucey bonus there from Bruce with the forecast in the Queen Alexandra. And finally, best bets of the day for day 5 at Royal Ascot. Which of you three lovely men wants to go first? Bruce.
Thanks for that. Well, I'll go with the first race. I do think Kunko is the best bet of the day. John Gosden 2-year-olds, never underestimate them.
Okay, Kunko for Bruce in the Chesham. Stuart Riley.
Twilight Sun.
Twilight Sun for Stuart, and drumroll, Tony O'Hare.
Started with Churchill, finished with Clondor Warrior.
2 then from Tony, and Churchill, Clondor Warrior. We've heard Twilight Sun and Kunko for Bruce. It's Exosphere for me. That then was our final Racing Post Royal Ascot postcard. Hope you've had a great week and back plenty of winners, and God willing we'll do it all again next year. Goodbye.
The Racing Postcast in association with Paddy Power. They prize support UK and Irish racing the night before.